Hope Community Resources is committed to person-centered planning for all the people who choose our supports through all the seasons of life. Life itself can be a navigational challenge. No one knows what lies ahead. We recognize the importance of having long-term staff and a variety of resources available to assist you along the way. When it comes to emotion-laden subjects like guardianship, wills, living wills, advance directives, it can all be very confusing and overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be that way. In 2012, Hope added end-of-life planning to our list of services and supports. We at Hope are committed to offering end-of-life planning in a manner that's sensitive to your cultural, spiritual, medical, financial, and legal needs. We've chosen a guided conversation booklet entitled Thinking Ahead for End-of-Life Planning at Hope. The Coalition for Compassionate Care of California, with the grant support from the California Department of Developmental Services and Special Hope, they developed Thinking Ahead by and for people who experience intellectual and developmental disabilities. This booklet results in 2 simple documents, a personal request form and a simple advance directive. The developers also produced a DVD dramatizing end-of-life planning using the Thinking Ahead booklet. With their permission, we're happy to present this DVD to you now to explain how we want to do end-of-life planning at Hope Community Resources.
Thinking ahead, my way, my choice, my life at the end. Hello, my name is David Lopez. I am the narrator of this DVD. You know and I know that living your life your way means making important decisions for yourself today and in the future. It also means thinking ahead to make decisions about what you want at the end of your life. Thank you for watching this DVD. Talking about death and dying is not easy, but being prepared for that time assures your choices are known and protected. This DVD and the Thinking Ahead workbook will help you think, plan, and do what you need to be prepared. Thinking ahead, my way, my choice, my life at the end. In this DVD, Eugenia shows how she used think, plan, do to complete her Thinking Ahead workbook to make a plan for her end-of-life choices. She knew that with a plan, she would be prepared, in control, and able to take action for herself. When Eugenia first opened her workbook, she learned how Connie and Betty, 2 other advocates, made key decisions about their final wishes. Both Connie and Betty thought ahead, made their plans, and followed through so they would be in control. Eugenia wanted to be prepared and stay in control through the end of her life too.
Choosing a trusted helper.
Think. Eugenia began her own plan by thinking about a person to help her complete the workbook. This person is called a trusted helper. Her trusted helper would be someone who knows her well and cares about her, can help her complete the workbook, but not tell her what they think she should do. Plan. Eugenia decided to ask her friend Kathy to be her trusted helper. Eugenia talked to Kathy about listening and respecting her choices. Kathy signed Eugenia's workbook, agreeing to help her think carefully and make her own end-of-life plan. Do. Eugenia and Kathy started by going through the workbook before writing down any of her choices. This gave Eugenia time to think about what is important. She had a few questions about some of the words, so she and Kathy talked about what they meant. Eugenia was ready to complete the workbook.
Making personal requests.
Think. Eugenia knew that near the end of people's lives, they make choices about the place where they want to spend their final days. She took time to think about where she wanted to be, how she would be cared for, where her personal things would go, and what her funeral and burial would be like. Plan. With Kathy's help, Eugenia began to make her personal plan by thinking about these questions and putting her choices on the workbook pages. Eugenia made her choice about where she wanted to be in her final days. She decided how she wanted to be cared for, like having her favorite people around and what would help her feel comfortable. Eugenia decided where her personal belongings and her dog would go. She also wanted to leave a special gift to her friend Tammy. Eugenia also decided how she wanted to be remembered. She would like her friends and family to celebrate her life with a funeral service. Do. After making her choices, Eugenia filled out the personal request form at the back of the workbook. She made copies of the completed form and gave them to important people in her life so they would know her wishes.
Making medical treatment choices.
Think. Next, Eugenia thought carefully about what medical treatment she wanted in her final days. She also wanted her doctor to know her decisions. It helped Eugenia think about the kind of life she wanted at the very end, sometimes called quality of life, when making choices about life support treatment. Eugenia and Kathy used the workbook pages to think about life support treatment. Plan. Life support treatments are used to try to keep people alive when they are very sick and close to death, like breathing machines, feeding and drinking tubes. Eugenia, with Kathy's support, began her personal plan by thinking about these questions and putting her choices on the workbook pages. Do. After making her own decision about life support treatments, Eugenia filled out the advance directive form at the back of the workbook. The advance directive form will tell her doctor what her choices are.
Choosing an end-of-life advocate.
Think. Eugenia learned it is important to have an end-of-life advocate, also called a health care agent. This person would speak for Eugenia if she were too sick to speak for herself about medical treatment. Eugenia's end-of-life advocate would be her legal spokesperson and speak to doctors and social workers if she could not. Her end-of-life advocate would be someone nearby to make sure her advance directive would be followed. Plan. Eugenia decided to ask Claudia, another person she knew and trusted, to be her end-of-life advocate. Claudia agreed to take on this important job. So Eugenia put down Claudia's name in her workbook as her end-of-life advocate. Do. Eugenia took action by making sure her advance directive form at the back of the workbook was completed. She and Kathy made sure she followed the directions and had 2 witnesses sign her completed advance directive. Eugenia tore off the completed advance directive form and made a copy for her end-of-life advocate. She also gave copies to other important people, including her social worker and doctor. Now Eugenia has finished her Thinking Ahead workbook. She exercised her right to live her life her way, now and at the very end. She is prepared and has a plan to share with other people. Think. Remember, think about what is important to you at the end of your life. Plan. Remember, creating a plan helps you take charge of your decisions. Do. Remember, taking action with support is the way to be prepared and stay in control. Here are some tips. Get information in ways you can understand. Share your decisions and plans with important people in your life. Make changes to your plan if you need to. It's your right. This DVD and the Thinking Ahead workbook were developed through a wellness grant from the California Department of Developmental Services. Thank you to the many advocates who participated in the focus groups to share their thoughts and feelings about the importance of being in control throughout their lives. Special thanks to Alta California, Golden Gate, and Eastern Los Angeles Regional Centers. I hope this presentation has been helpful. Remember, you have the right to make decisions about your end-of-life choices. Thank you for watching this DVD.
We appreciate the Coalition for Compassionate Care of California, the California Department of Developmental Services, and Special Hope for producing and sharing the Thinking Ahead booklet and DVD. We hope this DVD has helped you understand end-of-life planning and how we want to see it unfold at Hope. If you want this service for yourself for someone in your family, for someone you support, please contact your care coordinator at Hope or call our number in Anchorage, 907-561-5335. We're happy to include end-of-life planning as a service here at Hope, because when the time comes, we will know how to honor the choices and wishes of the people that choose our supports, even as we try to do through all the seasons of life.